of physically dragged into Christianity. I felt I was being hunted by Christ. Actually, that's a word that I used a lot. I felt like I was being hunted, which was very disconcerting. And I wanted it to stop, but I also sort of didn't. So I had to spend a lot of time reading and thinking and working out what was going on and talking to people. And then eventually I had a profound kind of experience, personal experience, which just felt like I'd been overwhelmed by something. And at that point I thought, okay, right, well, it looks like I'm going to have to become a Christian then. Having fought it for a long time, I sort of gave into it. And that was that, really.
Hey everyone, this is Great Things Philosophy. I found this very interesting video that I decided I wanted to go over. He talks about his conversion to Christianity, and I've been a believer now for maybe 2 years, and it also was a journey for me. I grew up in a Catholic family, and I never believed. My mother is actually quite surprised now when we talk. It's kind of funny because she's like, you used to argue with me so much. And that's why I wanted to share this video, because in a way, how he explains some things is how I also relate to them as well. Like, I also felt I was hunted in a way. I studied many religions when I was younger, all different kinds. I came to this belief of like, you should ultimately respect all of them, because whether you believe in it or not, millions, generations of people died believing in that. So I just found that in general to be disrespectful, to disregard any religion. But some things he says in this video that really do bring up some good points, and I hope you guys like it, and I really want to talk about them.
It's the end of a search for me, but obviously also the beginning of an actual journey, because I'm still very new. I'm still finding my feet. I'm still, doing the work. But yeah, it's been interesting. And as I say, since I wrote about that, I've had a lot of emails from other people who've had similar sorts of experiences, actually, interestingly, of being brought into Christianity, not expecting it, and then ending up in Orthodoxy as well. I'm finding something quite deep and true in that. So
I agree with that 100%. It happened very unexpected for me. The Orthodox Christian part, that I'm not sure yet. I still haven't really picked a certain one. My journey brought me to the words of Jesus, and I ended up doing my own research to discover, the eyewitness accounts, and basically to prove like he was alive at one point, and he was. There's documentations that prove it, witness accounts, testimonies, etc. And I did my own research, and when I found that out, I started believing in the man that once existed, that preached such kindness, and it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, but basically, if he was an actual living person, which he was, and you can do your own research and find that out, if you strip off all of the religious contexts of everything, right? You just have a man here who decided it was his job to walk around preaching peace, love, and connection to everyone, to bring people together, and just decided to do this for his life. Not have children, not have kids, not, have a business or make a name for himself or become rich or famous. It literally was to just translate his wisdom to other people, and for the ones that would listen. And there's something so unbelievable about that. And then there's also the crucifixion, which is a whole other thing, to die and suffer for us. That's a whole separate thing, but sorry, I ranted on for a little bit. Let's get to the next clip.
Very specific I mean, it's in many ways interestingly similar to the Buddhist tradition in terms of the monastic tradition and the very specific rules that there are about, spiritual warfare, as it would be called in Orthodoxy, and the kind of the internal work you're doing on yourself, and the fasting regime and the whole thing. And I thought, well, this is a form of Christianity I didn't know about. There's something very appealing about this, because what I wanted was a serious tradition, having dabbled in a lot of things that turned out not to be true to my mind. I thought, and a lot of modern Christianity, if you like, is not very serious, and it isn't a tradition either, because it changes every 5 minutes according to what's changing in society.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. That was one of the reasons it was hard for me to believe growing up, was because of just how much it changes. I mean, where I live, I've watched churches change their names into, honestly, some of them are quite disturbing what their name turned into. And they're just changing and stuff like that. I was never a church person. I don't go anyway, but I know people and talk to people, and I've seen the changes as well, just, driving by or what have you. And before I forget, the link in the description for the full interview will be down below. But yeah, in this next clip, he's going to talk about how Christianity has this, I think he says, almost dangerous element to it that makes people scared of it, and we're going to get into that in just a second.
Interesting, the situation in the West, and certainly in Europe. I don't know if it's true in America. It's becoming a Buddhist is almost just like, oh, that's fine. People shrug their shoulders at that. But becoming a Christian it sort of weirds people out in a different way, and it's very interesting actually. People who even becoming a witch, which you think would be a bit freaky, and probably is for a lot of people. Certainly for funnily enough, any of these kind of slightly neo-pagan or Eastern religions are treated, as I say, people would just say, oh, that's nice, that's interesting. But with Christianity, there's always something a bit dangerous about it. And I don't know quite why that is. I presume it's because it's the religion that we've abandoned. And so there's just something about it that makes people react quite negatively to it. It's quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, and this is where I really wanted to get into this. This is the meat and potatoes here. So, I think one of the main reasons why it's almost dangerous to other people is because when you truly start to believe in Christianity, one of the first fundamental things you have to do is now realize that you are not the center of your own universe. And I think that actually terrifies most people, that they are not the most important person, and it subjects you to say there's higher than you, both in Jesus and then in God. And I believe that to some degree intimidates a lot of people. I believed it intimidated me too as well at one point. And it's true. Buddhism, nobody bats an eye. You want to believe in something else, everyone's like, oh yeah, that's cool. You want to be a Wiccan. I know Wiccans. I have nothing wrong with any religion, but believing in any of these things, it almost nobody cares. It's like that's okay. But I've seen it in my own personal life where I tell people what I believe in now, Jesus and his words and things like that, and you can see the hesitation in them wanting to talk to you, and it is a strange thing. But I thought this video would be really interesting. This is the type of stuff that I truly want to do, is like breaking down things and talking about things intelligently, and just having a discussion about it at the end of the day. And I wonder how many of you have had similar things, maybe felt hunted or hunted by Christ in a way, or just within the last few years or even this year alone, find yourself believing, or picking up things to find out your own truth of the matter. But until we meet again, this is Grace Thinks Philosophy, and hope you guys enjoy it.